Hi, guys, and welcome to another episode of Let's Talk Travel. Today, I've got Solano with me, who is Mexican, currently living in Canada. Welcome, Solano. How are you?
Hey, how you doing, Asif? I'm good. I'm good. Enjoying the winter a little bit.
As much as you can enjoy it.
What, sorry?
As much as you can enjoy, I
Well,
suppose.
I mean, yeah, right. Today is not that bad. Today we're -7,
Oh,
so
wow.
-7 degrees. Saying that, but the good thing is that it's -7 without snow, so we can
Yeah,
still go out, we can still walk, but it's still COVID, so
yeah.
not really willing to.
So, do you want to tell us a bit about yourself? Because you've also got a YouTube channel and an Instagram account.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I've been working in tourism and travel for like around basically all my life. My family has a travel agency, so I've been a travel agent, a tour guide, a translator, a babysitter, a chef. I've been basically every job in the service industry that
Yeah,
exists. And eventually, at some point, I started thinking like, well, I have all these crazy adventures while I'm working. I should try to tell my story to people because some of them are a little unbelievable.
uh,
So
that's
what better
amazing.
idea than to have a little YouTube channel? So my idea was to start with a travel blog, and I
Yeah.
started writing the stories. But today people are a little bit more into the fast life. Not everyone is open to reading. Some of them will enjoy watching it better.
It
So
is a bit sad that obviously times have changed and people tend to take in information like more visually as opposed to reading. That art of reading is kind of dying down, which, but times
oh yeah,
change, I
absolutely.
suppose.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I mean, to be honest, I feel like I'm in my best when I'm writing, and even in my videos, I'm starting to learn how to do the edition, like all the editing and stuff. And
Yeah,
it's kind of difficult because a lot of my videos when I do them, I finish and it's like 45 minutes long, and not a lot of people is the same. They're not all up
no,
to like watching 45 minutes. I gotta go 5 or 6, and these are very long stories, very difficult things to do. So
yeah,
as
it,
as I'm going in, I'm trying to figure out a way to condense the writing into a video. It's complicated, but it's actually been a really fun adventure, I would say, in its own. The COVID gave me the chance to like sit down and try to
focus.
really think about everything. Like you say, yeah, exactly. Focus. Try to. Well, just like right now, I've been able to like get interviewed by people, talk to other chaps that have the same passion as me. So it's been
Yeah,
good because I get a lot of like background. Last interview I had was a girl from Austria, and at the end she told me like, hey, where do you get your microphone? I'm like, oh, I got it in Amazon and this and that, and then she gave me some tips about my camera. It's
yeah,
it's been I'm very very happy with how it's been going. I'm really amazed. I'm really
yeah. It's good
I'm
to see.
really 100%.
It's
Yeah, that's basically
it's good.
me.
Yeah, it's good to see that you still remain positive, even though we're obviously on a kind of a restriction kind of basis where we can't really travel as much, and obviously it's your passion, it's my passion, and then freedoms have been kind of taken away for us for like almost a year now.
Oh yeah, no, indeed. I mean, here in Quebec, for example, it started around April. I think it's the same for everyone else. And at the time, I was working in the kitchen, and it was the same. They told us like, okay, you're gonna stop, but certain restaurants are gonna remain open for a certain amount of people. And it didn't seem that difficult, and people really took
Yeah,
it very lightly. I think that was our mistake. I was cut off from work completely. They told me like, basically here is your forced vacation. And we're like, well, why not? I haven't had a holiday in a while,
yeah,
and it was amazing because yeah, it stopped, and a lot of people didn't cancel their travel tips. Nothing really stopped for tourism at the beginning, and now I feel like 9 months later we're suffering from like closed borders. Quebec just started a curfew a couple weeks ago, but it's as much as people complain about it, I'm of the mind of saying like, well, they gave us a chance to follow the rules and you didn't.
mm,
So what did you expect was going to happen? And I understand that it's difficult, but there's no other way for me or for you to keep on traveling if you just don't follow it.
yeah,
I know it's hard. I know it's
yeah.
sacrificing our liberties or chances to keep on going out is it's complicated.
Yeah, everyone has to kind of follow suit to kind of get the reward at the end of it.
Yeah,
Um,
we all gotta work together, man. I think that's basically the whole thing, but it's a little complicated with some people
yeah,
sometimes.
yeah. So about yourself. So Were you born in Mexico?
Yeah. I was born in Mexico. Was born in Mexico City, far as
Yeah.
I know. Not like I really remember that much, but I'm pretty sure I was Mexico City. Yeah, my mom's from the north of Mexico. My dad's from the south.
Yeah.
I was born in the center, so it was a perfect balance, I think.
Yeah. And so did you move very, very young then?
The thing is that my parents have a travel agency. It's called Grupo Divisa. They've been doing all types of tourism from like intake, outtake, big groups, small groups, World Cups. So
All within
it's
inside Mexico, yeah?
inside and outside. We do
Okay.
a lot of inside, and there's like, for example, World Cups, like the Olympics. Those are normally big dates for us.
Yeah.
And it's a very Mexican thing to do this, of like, instead of getting a nanny or a babysitter or something, you just take your kids and make them work with you. So
Okay.
what I remember,
Yeah.
like my first 10, 12, when I was 10 or 12, like a game, my mom would be like, how about we prepare these little baskets all together? And it would be some kind of baskets for the clients that we were giving
Yeah.
or something like that. So that's how I started traveling. From then on, it just, I guess the little travel bug bit me. And since then, I've been just traveling, immigrating, moving around everywhere.
Yeah.
It's just basically my lifestyle since I have memory of it.
So you've always had the passion, and it hasn't just grown on you. You've always kind of had it from like a young age.
I guess it developed. Was at a young age I didn't really understood. I mean, I understood what my parents' work was, and I understood the fact that we were kept on moving.
Yeah.
And what I never got is like, why do we always have to make different papers? Why do we need different visas? Why is this and that? And then at the beginning, that kind of killed it for me, because I thought, well, I have a Mexican passport. It's not really the strongest of passports there is, but it's not bad either. So
Yeah.
there were countries I wanted to go and visit, and I didn't. It wasn't easy for me. So at the time, that kind of well brings down the vibe for most of us. But
Yeah.
like you said, eventually the passion just it was still there. It was like, well,
Yeah.
you can complain about it, or you can just make it happen. And eventually, if that country, like for example, I don't know, for Turkey we need a visa in Mexico, so. And it's not difficult to achieve right now, but at the time I went first time, I had to go through a whole process. But I think it's
Yeah.
because I did it and other people started doing it, that Turkey saw that we were really trying to get there. The Mexicans are really interested in going to
Yeah.
Istanbul and stuff. So now it's very easy. So, some of us have to walk
Keep-
for others to run. So basically,
Yeah,
I've
that's
been
a good
doing that
saying.
because I think everyone in Mexico should start traveling too. I think it's good for us to learn about the world like that.
Yeah, I've only met Mexican people once in my life, believe it or not. I know that you guys are well traveled and pretty much all over the world, but it was actually whilst I was on holiday as well. So
Or yeah, we're more known, I think, as illegal immigrants everywhere, as we're always either in the United States or in Canada working.
hmm,
I mean, honestly, the other Mexicans I've met, if I haven't met maybe in a hostel one or two, which has been very weird, actually, very surprising. All the other Mexicans I've met have been people that either married someone of the country and are staying there, or people that immigrated for work.
yeah,
I've never actually met my people traveling for fun. That's what I like. Mostly
Yeah.
what I want to show with the channel is that you can do it with a Mexican passport. It's not complicated. There are
Yeah.
always ways for you to go out.
Yeah, like with anything in life, there's always going to be a struggle, and after the struggle, there's ease, I suppose.
Yeah. I mean, again, like I said, some of us need to walk for others to run. So I'm willing to go through all the process, all the tourism stuff, and I mean, I attend a lot of. I mean, even in London, they have the World Travel Market every November, and I normally attend as part of my parents' travel agency, even if I don't still work with them there, but I go as a
representative.
translator, as an interpreter, and it's easy for me to connect with people, get some business and stuff. So it helps us out.
That's
And I
awesome.
believe that these things are great. You go to London for that. You go to Madrid for the FITUR, it's the same, the Feria Internacional de Turismo. You go to
Yeah.
Turkey for the workshop, the travel workshops. As much as I can do that, I think it's a great way for me to find ways to travel, and for also people to want to come to Mexico too. So
Yeah,
I think it's necessary. I would even say it's almost compulsory for people that travel to try to make people want to travel too.
Yeah, this is a different perspective, I suppose. Like I've never really spoke to anyone with that kind of perspective where, uh, you know, like where they're from a country which travel is not, you know, like a popular pastime.
Yeah, no, normally Mexicans, we travel inside our own country. We go to the same beaches, we go to the same places, and everyone knows Mexico at a certain point. They know what we call the American version of Mexico. They go to Cancun, to Cozumel. These places are
Yeah,
very known. But this is in Mexico. You go in and it's an American hotel. You're gonna get a burger and hot dogs and maybe some tacos. You're gonna get
yeah.
service that is made for them. You're gonna get prices in dollars. You're gonna get people that speak English, and that's not the reality. The reality, it's not that. That's
It's
not
not
really
that
what.
all. Yeah, and
Exactly.
I don't like holidays like that where you kind of go to resorts and stuff like that because the resort holidays are available all across the world, and you're pretty much sitting in the hotel by the pool. You know, you're still in your comfort zone. So
Yeah, no, exactly. And I mean, I agree that from time to time, like in our travels, we sell resorts from time to time. And I understand that if you go to a resort, you go to relax. Okay, that's fine. But you cannot tell me that you went to Cancun and you went to Mexico.
no,
That's
no.
not true. You went to relax. It's valid.
Yeah, yeah.
You wanna have meals included. You wanna just sit down, sip some piña colada, drink some food, and do nothing. That's perfect. Go ahead. But don't tell me you went to my country because that's not true.
Yeah, you're not enriched by any of the culture
Exactly.
any of the people, any of the food. You can't say that you've been culturally enriched by any of it.
Exactly. Like I said, it's valid to say, look, I'm tired. My job is difficult. My boss is a prick. I'm gonna go on a holiday to, I don't know, to Cancun, and I'm not gonna do nothing for a week. Again, valid. Go ahead. Don't come back and tell me like, oh yeah, I saw the real Mexico. I learned about the culture. You didn't do none of that.
Yeah,
That's not true.
yeah,
That's the kind of thing I don't like. Every travel is valid as long as you understand what you're doing. Don't try to sell me something like you cannot tell me this is gold when it's copper. That's
yeah.
basically my only problem when people travel with big resorts is they will always tell you every time I met an American, for example, traveling, is like, oh, I've been to Mexico, I love it. Really, where? Cancun, Cozumel, Acapulco. Oh yeah, great. I mean,
Yeah, you haven't experienced nothing.
it's not my country. It's just, I mean, it's part of my
Yeah,
country, but it's not really what it is.
yeah,
It
yeah.
doesn't really,
Uh,
like you said, it doesn't enrich you at all.
Yeah, and Mexico's a big place. Let's face it, it's a massive country, and I haven't been. This is one of the places that I would like to go to, but I'm guessing the north to the south to the east to the west, every place will be different, and
I
you'll have
mean,
your
it's gigantic. Yeah, we're almost the size of. I think someone made a map where it was like Europe and then Mexico, and Mexico's almost like from
yeah.
Spain all the way almost to Poland and a little bit down to Italy.
Oh
Where
wow.
it's a massive country. It's
Yeah,
and it, like you said, it's extremely different. The south to the
yeah,
center, to the north. It's almost unrecognizable depending where you are. It's completely. I urge you, mate, to go and take a
yeah,
trip. It's amazing. The things you'll see, the people you hear. It's like its own continent in its own. It's
yeah.
amazing.
Like there are some sites that do fascinate me. I think east side where you've got like some of the ancient civilizations and stuff.
Oh yeah, yeah.
They
By the south, you mean the Mayans?
is it the Mayans the where you've got some of the pyramids and stuff like that?
Well,
'Cause-
we had Mexico. It's actually well, it's basically known as a multinational country, not multicultural, multinational, because every single one, like the Mayans, the Aztecs, the Mexicas, the Mishas, each one of them is a nation in itself,
yeah,
and some of them are still alive. Like Mayans, there's still Mayans in Mexico. So in the south, we have the civilization, like the ruins of their civilizations in different
yeah.
cities, like Tikal, um, Chichen Itza, which is one of
That's the one. That's the one.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's it's
one of
it's a
the
world wonder or
yeah,
something
yeah,
like that. I
yeah.
think that's the Mayans. But for example, if you go to the center of Mexico City, we have a place called Teotihuacan that has the second biggest pyramid in Mexico. That it's the
Oh
pyramid of
wow.
the sun. If you go to Mexico City, in the city center, we have another thing called the Templo Mayor, which is the same. It's one of the tallest, and actually the biggest pyramid in the world is not in Egypt. It's not the Cheops pyramid. It's one called the Huitzilopochtli pyramid in Mexico. I don't recall perfectly where it is. I think it's a state called Michoacan, something like that, and that's another civilization that made another pyramid that it's
Yeah.
huge.
Yeah.
And we have thousands of these ruins sprinkled across all the country. It's amazing. You can find them almost anywhere. Like
Yeah,
I said,
amazing.
in different nations. You can see Chichen Itza and you go like, oh, that's Mayan, but then you see another thing and looks nothing alike. It's like another, like I said, another complete nation.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of it. You need to go and a local will tell you, okay, this is the Totonacas, this used to be this,
Yeah.
this were the Mixtecos, and then and you hear all the stories, and it sounds like they're the same, but it's not. It's amazing. Again, like I said, I've been to every single state that we have in Mexico. Mexico is divided by states, and even like that, I couldn't say that I know everything.
Wow.
I'm still scratching just the surface.
Yeah. So do you enjoy it when you go back to Mexico, or does it feel a bit more like a chore?
Oh man, I haven't been there in a while. I think it's like 9 years now.
Yeah.
I was actually supposed to go this year on December, see my family and stuff, but
Yeah.
well, we had COVID, so I'm guessing I'm gonna postpone it for next year. But I'll be very truthful with you, mate. It is a little bit of a chore from time to time because
Yeah.
I come back, everyone is like, oh, the guy that left, how you doing? It's asking,
Yeah.
seeing family and stuff. I don't get to do all the stuff I want to do sometimes because
No,
I
I get
gotta
it.
do what I gotta
Yeah.
do.
Yeah, I get
But
it
it's
because
still nice.
whenever you go back to your home country, you got people who visit you and catch up with you. Before you got any time to yourself, it's like a week later, or
Oh yeah, man, and it's always like I went and then when I left, it's like either my mom calling me and going like, "Oh, your aunt said that you didn't come to visit her. Why?" It's like, because she lives on the other side of the country and understand this is a huge country. I can't be taking planes every weekend.
Yeah.
It's stuff like that. Again, I loved it, but it is very difficult when I say I'm coming because that's all the family want to visit and I can't. It's just huge.
Yeah. So what is the actual last travel that you actually did?
The last one I did was actually coming back from Iceland.
Okay.
I was flying from Russia from the World Cup. It was in July 2018, and I did a stop in Iceland to come here to Quebec, and I stayed there for 3 days before because I was on a working visa here, so I thought before I start working again, I might as well enjoy myself. So I took 3 days in Iceland. It was pretty amazing. I think I want to go back in winter when you can see the northern lights and stuff because that was a little bit in the summer, but it was still very amazing. I really enjoyed it. It was my first time in Iceland and I really want to go back.
What did you like about it most?
First of all, I went to this hostel that I cannot pronounce at all, and it was amazing because the moment I got there, there was still a little bit of the hype of the World Cup, and Iceland was in the World Cup for a change. So the moment I got down in the airport, I remember that the customs guy took my passport, stamped it, and then he looked at me and went like, "Are you seeing the match?" And I went like, "Well, I just." I was like, "Before you leave, there's a TV there for you to watch Mexico Sweden if you want to."
Oh,
like,
wow.
But you already stamped my passport, mate. He's like, "No problem, just go." And he literally led me to a place where I could watch the game. We lost, but it was fun. And the moment it finished, he passed and he went like, "How did it go?" Like, "Oh, we lost, mate." He's like, "Oh, that's fine. Where are you going?" I showed him a little bit the hostel world address. He's like, "Oh, it's very close. Take that taxi, you'll be fine." When I arrived, the moment I said Mexico, there was a couple Swedish couple there. They started laughing a bit. Like, "Oh, it's okay." They gave me a beer. Like, "Oh, you're gonna be fine." It was a lot of that. They were still hyped up by that. I don't recall if Iceland was still at the cup at that time. I think it was. So it was the first day I stayed there. It was basically just party because people were just still drinking, watching football, enjoying it. Next day we went for Icelandic traditional food. They take us to this like the rotten shark stuff. We did that. We had some of their some wine that they make special there, some kind of like a vodka thing. It was very good, delicious. We went to the thermals, the springs, the thermal water was amazing. And then the third day, I was basically just saying like, "Oh, this was amazing. I'm gonna miss all of you. If you ever want to come back, you want to come and visit me in Quebec, it's 3 hours."
Yeah.
80% of them were like, nah, mate, that's fine. I'm like, oh, it's okay. So I think I need to go back to actually see it a little bit
Yeah.
more cultural. Even though I took time to do the cultural stuff, the gastronomic tours and stuff.
Yeah.
I think I should go back just to like stay with the locals a little bit more, talk to them, see if I can do some kind of voluntary work. That would be nice.
Yeah. Was it actually cold in the summer? Is it cold there? Because I know obviously it's quite north.
Oh, not really, mate. I'll say it was because it was around July 2018, so 20 degrees, I think. It was,
Oh,
it was
that's good.
pretty warm. I mean, that's weather that I in Mexico would still wear a little sweater, like something like a little jumper like this,
Yeah.
but nothing extreme.
Yeah.
I want to go on winter. I think that's when you want to see. That's when
Yeah.
you want to see Iceland.
Yeah. Yeah. And what did you make of Russia during the World Cup?
I loved it, man. I loved it. It's amazing because I lived there for a while before.
All right.
And I always said like Russians are just basically snow Mexicans. They're basically the same because it's a lot of people think of Mexicans as in, oh, they're very like, Latino and they're all party and fiesta and whatever. But if you actually go to a country, we're not going to smile at you or talk to you because we're on our day. We just keep on going. And the Russians are exactly the same. But the moment they like you or they start talking to you, if they like you, they go all out. I literally met a man in the tube because he saw a tattoo on my finger that he had. And he just started talking to me in Russian. And at the time, I didn't speak Russian good. So I was just kind of going in English as I could. And he just told me like, oh, I like your tattoo. You're coming with me. We go have coffee in my house. I'm like, oh, thanks, mate. I was thinking like, this is how I lose a kidney or a lung or something. We're like, no, it's gonna be fine. You come. And I texted a friend of mine, a girl, was like, hey, I might be getting kidnapped, so I'm getting into this station. If you can come and help. And she came, and when the guy came down, she took us both. She just basically convinced her. We got into his apartment, which was a very small one. His mother was there hitting up something. He said in Russian, like, Mom, I met this Mexican guy, very funny, whatever. You want to, we're going to cook, we make food. And the woman, it was like in a Russian movie. She had the tab, everything. She turned. She didn't speak any English. She just started speaking to him. My Russian friend, the girl, Masha, she was laughing. She was like, oh, you're going to be fine. Just sit down. You're going to have vodka. We're going to talk. We're going to have coffee. It's going to be okay. I'm like, that's great. It's just that I'm not very used to just going to a stranger's house like that.
Yeah.
And it just happened, and he became my friend. His name is Grigory right now. Well, I call him Grisha. And since then, every single time in the World Cup, because I was working at the time at the travel agency, so I would take the group to a game. And the moment I finish, I would get a text from Grisha going like, "You finish? We go to bar. We go here." And I would just bring my Mexican friends. Go like, "Okay, we're gonna go meet my Russian friends." And it was just drinking, and they will all understand each other when they were both like completely pissed, mate. It was amazing. Next day was just eating and laughing. Russians are just basically Mexicans to me. It wasn't. I mean, I don't know if it's because we're Mexicans that they just thought, oh, that's a funny country for us. I don't care. Maybe if I would have been American or something, they would have been different. But no, they just the moment I said Mexico, they just started laughing, opened up, and they even showed me a tequila that they make there that is just disgusting, mate. It's the worst. It's just like petrol, but it was for free. So I was like, okay, yeah, give me, why not? I loved it, man. I loved it. I think I love the Russian people way too much.
Yeah. So you've lived in Russia, Canada. Have you lived anywhere else?
I lived in Montenegro for a while, in Kotor. It's a little town.
Yeah.
I lived in Belgrade for a while. I lived in Vienna in Italy.
Okay.
And I lived in London.
Okay. So why did you live in them European places? Because they're not like the most. They wouldn't be like the first on your list, will they?
Well, I mean, London is because I have family there, and I went when I was young. I was like 12, 13, and they basically for me to finish learning my English.
Yeah.
So I've been speaking English since birth. It's my other native language, but I learned it with them. So all the words I have are British English, and when I'm working here in Canada, I speak with a Canadian accent, but I say lift, I say film, I say stuff that they don't really understand.
Yeah.
It's a little fun. So that's where I was in London. And in Kotor in Montenegro, I was working in Italy, in Biella, as an au pair. I don't really look like an au pair, but it was a fun idea. I thought, why not?
Yeah.
I could be a babysitter. It's not that hard. I help my nephew. She's not that traumatized. It'll be okay. So I went in, and then I got an email from a guy in a site called World Packers from Montenegro. At the time, I didn't remember where Montenegro was, and he said like, we're looking for a chef. You are a chef. Would you like to be a volunteer chef in our hostel? I'm like, oh yeah, I would love that. It's like, yeah, we'll give you 3 months if you want to come here. At the time, I needed to leave the European Union either way, because I only had three months inside.
Okay.
So after that, I need to be 6 months outside.
Okay.
And like, that's perfect. And Montenegro is still Europe. It's just next to it.
Yeah, yeah.
So I went into Montenegro. I worked there, and this was in a small town called Jurasevici. Once I finished there, I went into Albania. I did the same volunteer work in a hostel, and then from there I went back to Montenegro into a city called Kotor, in a hostel called the Old Town Hostel. And I actually went there because I was drinking with a lad, and he told me, let's go drink here. I thought it was a bar. I didn't know it was a hostel. I came in, I just started partying and drinking, and then the owner came down and went like, would you like to volunteer here? So like, that isn't this like a pub, mate? I was like, no, this is a hostel. Like, and you just let me in? I'm like, oh, it's cool. Nothing happens. And I just started working. I literally I volunteered a month, and then they started paying me.
Awesome.
And I stopped working. And from then on, I just kept on traveling into Europe until I went back to Canada.
Yeah. So whilst you were volunteering at these places, did you get much time to explore the places as well?
Yeah, I mean, I stayed, most of them I stayed at around 1 or 2 months minimum. So I always had time to go around. Normally what I do is I either have a little bit of investigation of where am I going and what's there for me to do. And I go through that, like the things that I'm curious about. But normally if you wait enough, the locals will give you really good ideas.
Yeah.
So when I was in the hostel, like a lot of the locals would tell me like, oh, you should go to Budva in Montenegro. It's a great place. I didn't know why it's a great place. I didn't know where it is, but I would take a bus, go to Budva and figure it out. They'll be like, oh, you should go to Cetinje. It used to be the old capital. There's a lot of nice places. I don't know what nice places you mean, mate, but I'm going to go and check it out. So basically that has been, and I take my time to go there. Another good thing is that if you're in hostels, you always find Germans, and those guys always organize trips.
Yeah.
They love order, so it's perfect. If you find a German, you go with them. They will go to a good tour. They'll invite you in, and that's how you meet, and that's how you see the country. Yeah. So normally I would wait for someone to be like, "Oh, we're going to this place. Would you like to come with us?" I'm like, yes, of course I want to come with you. Let's go.
Yeah.
And then I'll just figure it out from there.
Awesome, man. And how did you find like the cultures and the food and stuff like that in them kind of places?
They have food that you never heard of. Like when in the Balkans, there's a lot of stuff I didn't know existed.
Yeah.
Just like moussaka, for example, I didn't know what it was, and it's a type of like
sauce or
shepherd's pie, I would say,
okay, yeah.
Better made. I don't know. Well, not better made, just differently made with beef or pork. And then you have the cevapi, which is basically like a sausage made out of pork and beef into a more like I wouldn't call it a sausage. It's very difficult to explain, but there's a lot of food I've never tried. When I was there, they showed it to me. The amount of like alcohol too they drink and the coffees that they have, everything was different, and it's something that you don't expect. So for me, that was a nice surprise because it gave me, well, as a cook too, it gave me a lot of options to learn. I learned how to cook all of this while I was there. It's amazing, and it's weird because I find that every time I travel into a country, if I stay only a week, I get like, let's say the tourist attractions, everything that's fine, and I learn about the people. And that's so cool. Like I have a basic understanding, so I learn the manners and stuff you need to do or not to do. But when I actually stay for a while, I always find that we're too much alike, everyone in the world. Yeah. It's very difficult to find an actual division in our cultures. It's if it's not religion or something else, it's very difficult for me to see a difference. When I was in Kotor again, these are like Slavs. These are people from the Balkans, Montenegrins, Serbians, Croatians, and even them after the years of war in Yugoslavia or ex-Yugoslavia, we had a moment where we actually had there was like a kind of like a world travel market, but for the Balkans, called the I Travel Balkans Network. And while I was working in the hostel, they hired me. They were like, you have a laptop, you know how to work PowerPoint, you know how to do this. Would you like to be our presentator? And I went like, that's perfect. I would love to do that. And I did it, and I met people from Slovenia, Slovakia, Montenegro, and everything. And they were all owners of hostels. And it was amazing to chat with them because most of them were born when Yugoslavia was still a thing.
Yeah, yeah.
And most of them, like one of them told me, like, I have 3 different passports. I used to be Yugoslavian, then I was Serbian, and now I'm Montenegrin.
Yeah.
This is something that for me as Mexican, this is amazing. That I cannot, because my country's 100 years old. And even that is young. If you go to England, these people have been in the UK for thousands of years.
Yeah.
So it's amazing to talk to them. And then you see how all Yugoslavians, or well, Slavians, the Slavics, they're all the same. Even there used to be a war between Bosnia, Croatia, Serbia. They still talk, they still drink, they still have fun, and they all work like a big family. And while I was there, I felt like a Slav. I was drinking with them, I was speaking their language, I was eating their food. There was no big difference. I would think that this is basically what I would do in Mexico with my mates. Is we will go out. The difference is, instead of musaka, it would be maybe some tacos or something like that. Instead of rakia, it's going to be tequila. And instead of this music, it's going to be maybe mariachi or salsa or cumbias. But it's basically the same. They talk about the same. They like the same.
Yeah.
I feel like cultures, eventually you find out you're all the same.
Yeah, that's amazing. And obviously you traveled through the different countries in the Balkans. Was there any reminiscence of any of the tensions from the older times, or...
I wouldn't say there's I mean, I think that the people I spend the time to is also people that are very progressive, because most of them are owners of hostels, so they understand that you're gonna be in contact with the world.
Yeah.
Can't really, if you own a hostel, you cannot hold a grudge. It doesn't work. It's you kill your own industry, mate. You can't hate people if you're in a hostel. So I think that was one thing. But for example, when I visited Mostar and some of the cities in Bosnia, when I went to the capital, I forget the name, I got to see a lot of the buildings that were like shot with 50 caliber bullets and stuff. And this is things that I don't know if the government wants to keep them like that or the people, but it's basically a reminder of what happened.
Yeah.
And it's a very sobering thought when you go there, and it's specifically sobering when, in my case, I was drinking with a guy in Bosnia in Mostar getting completely destroyed, and then I took a bus, and the first thing I see is that the bus station has multiple shots from multiple weapons that I can identify. So it's a moment of very sobering thought that you need to behave. Either you want or not, you gotta behave here, because there's like they told me, there's people that been living here since this used to be Yugoslavia. It's not many years, mate, since they've been a country, maybe 20 maximum. Yeah. Slovenia was the first one that divided, and I think it was in like 1989. That's when The Simpsons started going out, mate. It's not too long ago.
Yeah, it is in our time. Like,
it's amazing. And it's a moment that again, it's a very sobering thought to realize that as much as we're all alike, we all had they all had a different upbringing, and we ended up all being friends, all being similar. Yeah. So I believe that the tension, there must be tensions. I couldn't say that they're not, but I wasn't able to see any of them.
No, that's good. As long as you were able to travel freely and didn't face any hardships or any problems whilst you're traveling, I suppose.
Oh yeah, no, not at all. Again, I can honestly say that I've been very blessed in my travels. I've been very thankful too, because I've been able to see this, like the amount, like a Serbian pouring shots for a Croatian while a Slovenian girl is dancing with me, and that is amazing. At the same time as I've been able to see the Museum of the Balkan War, and it's it's two sides of the same coin. You gotta. I believe that the best way to live your life is with a balance of both things. You're allowed to do both, and the moment you learn them, it gives you a very, very complete opinion of the country. It gives you like the facility to talk about it in a way in which you don't sound like any other guy that I've been talking about. Like, oh, I went to this country, I stayed in this hotel, it was great. Yes, the hotel was great, but Now I got to see what it is, and it's amazing. I can honestly and calmly give an opinion that I think it's as complete as it can be
Yeah.
for a cheap traveler that I was doing. And I'm pretty sure that the moment I go back, it's going to be completely different, but at the same time, it's going to feel familiar.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's amazing. It's something that I love a lot about traveling.
Yeah. Talking about another place you've been, so I've recently watched one of your videos on your channel about fundraising in Indonesia.
Oh yeah, yeah. That happened. That happened a little soon. I think it was last week. Last week, Indonesia was hit by a tsunami in the region of Manado. Manado is close to Jakarta. Jakarta being the capital city. This tsunami, it was not like the one that happened around the 2000s, 2001 that actually destroyed the whole city. This one just hit the region of Manado. But
Okay.
as you could see in my video, I got videos from friends that live there that show me the amount of devastation that happened. And so most of the businesses that were there were completely destroyed or completely, well, basically abandoned. And
Yeah.
some people were trying to stay there and help. So when they gave me these videos, I thought it would be a good idea for me to show to the world, because the moment I said to my friends, like, oh, there was a tsunami in Manado, no one knew what Manado was. I said Jakarta, same thing. I said Indonesia, exactly the same. But if I were to say Bali, I'm pretty sure everyone will know what Bali is. And again, I'll go like, it's amazing that you can go to Bali to get destroyed and do whatever you want, but if Indonesia dies, Bali dies, mate. So you gotta help out. So that's what the video was about telling people like, this is Manado, this is what's happening, and if you can donate, these are the website. My friends in Indonesia eventually sent me the link that I updated. So now we have the direct link to help into the Indonesian GoFundMe.
Yeah.
And right now, I think it's been going. I think they have already 20 grand in US dollars. I'm hoping that it's gonna be mounting up soon. But yeah, that was basically the idea of that video.
Yeah. So I'll leave the link in the description to this video as well, so that if anyone wants to donate to obviously the good cause, it's good that you've obviously raised the awareness for the issue that's happened there. But how have you connected to these people? So have you traveled there in the past and met these people?
I've been in Indonesia in the past for work, but sadly I didn't met these people there. It's been more using the app Couchsurfing.
Okay.
I do a lot of Couchsurfing. I like more like as a host these times that I haven't been able to travel since I've been in Canada. So it's been like 2-3 years that I've been hosting people. And there was this girl called Rani Guzzi. She contacted me from Couchsurfing and went like, we saw your profile. You have almost 90 recommendations, almost 100. You're a Mexican in Quebec with the biggest Couchsurfing, like positive recommendations. And it's amazing that you're not Canadian. So we wanted to talk to you and add to this group that is called Jakarta International Friendship.
Okay.
And I went like, this is amazing. This is great. I would love that because I don't know a lot of Indonesian people. So this is a great way for me to connect. So we connected into that in a WhatsApp group. We started doing meetings online, different themes. We did an Italian night. We did just a connection night, game night. And since then we've been meeting. I met a lot of them. And when Manado happened, it was about 3 a.m. here. But the first message I got was from Rani saying, Manado was hit, I am okay. So I started calling everyone, going like, are you okay, are you fine? And that same day, that's when I didn't do anything the first day because I had to work. 2 days later, they gave me the videos, and that's when I decided to do the YouTube video to, make awareness. But basically, that's my connection to Indonesia. I have promised them that eventually, when COVID ends, I would go and we will have the actual Jakarta International Friendship meeting, but in the real, with all of us. It's because it's a group with multiple people. It's not only me. There's Simone from Italy. There's another guy from Montreal. There's a guy from the United States, but I think he's Indian. I'm not quite sure. So it's a lot of people, but basically the group is based in Jakarta.
No, that's really good.
They use it to like practice their English and stuff. It's a great idea, man. To be honest, it's a great idea. I've never thought about it.
And that's one of the good things that I love about traveling is you get to connect with different people from different places, and everyone has their own perspectives on life, and each person's life is unique. Do you know what I mean? And you can learn from people and share experiences and.
Yeah, no, like you said, like is the different upbringing that takes us, because I think that we all had the same goal, which is travel, but we all have different means to do it, and we all have different motivations. But at the end of the day, it's the same goal. So, like you said, for example, in your case, you travel is your passion. This is what you love to do. And I am traveling because at the beginning it was a job.
Yeah.
Then it became a passion. Now it's something that my body asks me to do. Yeah. It's almost like my kidneys will shut down, man, if I don't get out eventually. And other people you meet is the same. You meet some people that go like, I met a guy once in a hostel that told me, I am here because I'm traveling to climb the highest peaks in the world.
Yeah.
And I met him in Mexico because he went to Mexico to travel and find the tallest mountain. Honestly, I didn't even know we had a mountain that big. He told me the name. Yeah. I don't remember. But this is like the motivation is different, but the goal was the same. He wants to travel, and it was amazing to talk to him. And we're like, well, that's great, mate. I told him about one mountain I know in Mexico, and because of what I told him, he eventually sent me a video that he went to that mountain and went up.
Wow,
it was very funny to me to go like, oh, I know that place. That's amazing, mate. I love you liked it.
Yeah.
So I think that's how we all, like you said, we're all different. We all have the different goals, but we end up inspiring each other to keep on going.
Yeah.
It's beautiful in its own way. It's art.
Yeah. So what's the best place you've ever been to?
Oh man, that's a difficult question. I don't want to disappoint anyone. I would say I don't really have a favorite place. I don't think I have. Every single place has been a very difficult one. I could because for example I go to London every year for the World Child Market, so I could say I know London like the back of my hand, but it's not really my favorite place. It's beautiful. I loved it, but it's not my favorite. I love Mexico too. It's not my favorite either. Qatar, I had the best experience in my life. Not my favorite. Moscow, great place, great people. Not my favorite. I don't know, man. I think I wouldn't say I have a favorite one. I would say my favorite place is the place I'm going to next.
That's a really interesting.
It's the next one.
That's a really interesting way of putting it. So where is next for you?
Well, I basically have 3 promises to achieve at this point. First one is the Indonesian one, to see and help out in Manado as much as I can. The other is the Iceland one. And the third would be basically London for the World Travel Market of next year. Yeah. Like I said before, I was supposed to go to Mexico for Christmas, but I don't really know if that's going to be what's going to happen. At this point, I'm also tied to Canada. I'm in the process of doing immigration papers to become a permanent resident. That would make it easier for me to travel. So I might not be able to go out as long as that's going on. So that would make my next trip Montreal, basically, or traveling inside Canada, which I haven't done much. I know a couple of cities, but I haven't really seen the country. So maybe I would say I hope the next one is Indonesia, but if it's not, it's going to have to be Montreal.
Yeah. Awesome.
We'll see.
So Solano, is there any interesting stories that you can share with us?
Well, I got one that I think your good subscribers will enjoy. It's me following the good stereotype of the Mexican illegal immigrant, I would say. It was kind of like an involuntary immigration, as I like to call it. As I said before, there was a time in which I was outside in Montenegro waiting for my time to end so I could go back into Europe. And I was working in Albania in a hostel called Mi Casa es Tu Casa. That was in the town of Shkodra. It's a beautiful town, by the way. If you guys, you should go. Anywho, I was working with this guy, Seth. He was a French friend. And he met an Albanian lad. I don't remember his name. And he told me, like, hey, he's saying that he will give us 200 euros if we fix some stuff in a bar he owns a little bit farther away from here. 200 euros in Albania is a lot of money. So, like, that's a good idea. I'm down for that. Yeah. It's like, do you know something about plumbing construction? I remember going, like, mate, I'm Mexican. Of course I do. He's like, perfect. We're gonna meet outside the hostel at this time, and there's gonna be a little van coming in. So that's what happened. In the morning, I got into the van. I was literally sitting down. I had only my cap, a little like sleeveless shirt. I had a phone at the time that it was basically like a burner phone. And I remember telling Seth, like, I cannot sit in the front. It's like, oh, we're gonna go pick up another guy, so just sit behind. It's gonna be fine. And I sit down, and I was playing some kind of mobile game. I don't remember. And time passed by. We stopped at what looked like like a search point. He told me like, oh, don't worry, we're just gonna give some. It's just like a toll. We're just gonna pay the toll. You're gonna be fine. I'm like, oh, perfect. I didn't move. We paid the toll, and then at the moment when he opened he just opened the van. He told me like, oh, come down, it's gonna be fun. And I noticed that it was completely different to Shkodra and another town. For the moment I thought, oh, maybe we're in Tirana, this is the capital. I've never been at the time, because it looked very developed. And then I started hearing people talk, and that didn't sound like Albanian to me. I came down, I went like, Seth, where are we? He's like, oh, we're in Greece. I'm like, wait, what? He's like, yeah, we're in Greece. Like, mate, I can't be here. It's like, oh, of course you can. You have a passport. I'm like, yeah, but I don't have it with me. He's like, and also, it's a Mexican passport, mate. I can't. You understand how weak these things are? Like, this are passport that even customs officers laugh at.
Wow.
What am I supposed to do here? It's like, oh, it's okay. You know, some Albanians are allowed to pass. I'm like, again, you fail to understand here, Seth. I'm not Albanian either. I'm very much as Mexican as they come. Like, my mom married another Mexican. I'm not mixed. 100% I can assure you this. He's like, oh, he's trying to go like, oh, but I'll be okay. I'm like, yeah, of course you're going to be okay, mate. You're French. But I'm not. It's like, well, this is what we're going to do. You're going to act Albanian. Like, what? How the fuck does one act Albanian? And I remember because it was an Albanian friend, I was just like, oh, it's basically the same as Mexican. I'm like, oh, well, everything is the same as Mexican these days. Like, don't worry, you're going to be fine. I'm just going to teach you a couple of names. Look, you're going to say scaperse for everything. Like, what's the scaperse? It's like, oh, it's like, you're welcome. Okay, perfect. So he took us to this bar. I was very scared. I was trying to like look not suspicious. Again, I'm covered in tattoos. I have half a cap. I have a sleeveless shirt. I am asking to be stopped. Yeah. And I come into this bar. The guy comes in. His name is Stamatis, I think. He speaks a little bit of English with me, and I go like, "Oh yeah, no." He asks, "Where are you from?" And for a moment, I almost forgot, and I went like, "Oh, I am from this Shkodra." Like, oh, you're Albanian. I was like, yeah. I didn't know how to say yes in Albanian, so he said, yeah. And he started speaking to me in Albanian.
Oh.
The only thing I could do is I just went like, scaperse. And I just moved with my friend said, I'm like, don't leave me alone with these people, because then they're going to notice. And someone made up a story that I was half Albanian and my mother was Bosnian or something, and I could only speak Serbian and a little bit of Russian. I don't know what they taught. I don't know what they said. I was just fixing this plumbing, trying to get everything done. I was very scared. Like, the moment we go back, they're going to check my passport when we go into Albania. I don't have a passport. I'm pretty sure that there's going to be some kind of trouble. And when we finish, my friend Cedric, the French, was like, oh, you want to have some aquavita, some drink? Like, I would love to if I wasn't so scared to get deported, mate. Like, you understand that this is like a stereotype for my people. I can't get deported now. I'm going to lose everything. Like, oh, don't worry, have a drink. We're having a drink. I'm trying to calm down. Stamati says you should stay another night, and then you can cross the border in the morning. That's when it's less populated. It's going to be fine. Okay, that's perfect. And before we left, he gave me a little red book that had some Russian in it and a red star and something. He gave it to me. He goes, when you cross, you're going to tell them this is an Albanian passport.
You must have been scared.
I wonder, how are people going to know this? And also, why would I give him a book that is not just like, don't worry, they're not going to get you down. When you're sitting in the front with Cedric is going to give them their French passport. They're going to let them in, and when you turn, you're just going to do this. You show it, and then you put it back in your pocket. Like, I don't have a pocket. I only have a sleeveless shirt. Whatever. I'm holding this thing. I'm in the car. I'm getting scared. Cedric is enjoying the view. He's going like, oh, there's a restaurant there. We should stop for lunch. I'm like, mate, just get to the bloody border. I need to get out of here. Understand that I'm not very comfortable. It's like, oh, it's gonna be fine. Don't worry. Pushes me all the way. We got to the border. There's a couple customs officers. They say like, hello, good day. And then my friend said in French a little stuff. He showed his passport. I did the trick with the red thing, and I think I did it very badly because the moment I went like this, the customs officer just started laughing.
Oh.
He just started laughing. He just went like this. He covered his head. I went like, okay, this is it. I'm gonna die in an Albanian prison, I guess. He just turned and he just went like, it's okay, just go. And so he turned and I'm like, just go, mate. He's telling you to leave. And we left. We went all the way back to the hostel. I got there. I told the owner, I told Lani, like, I just crossed into Greece illegally. She's laughing her ass off. She's telling me, like, oh, we had your passport here. Why didn't you tell us? Like, I didn't know we were going to Greece. Everyone's laughing. And then I showed them the little book that I have. And he takes it and he goes, like, you know what this is? Like, this is a Soviet manual to how to do a homemade bazooka. Like, what? Like, yeah, this teaches you how to make a Soviet explosive at home with a pipe, some sort of...
You that would have made things 10 times worse.
Exactly. What am I supposed? And I just showed it to a customs officer. Like, here, I might be a terrorist. You don't know. And
that's so bad.
I mean, not to laugh, but I had no hair and my beard was very long, so I could have been mistaken by anything at that point.
Wow.
But I kept it. I got saved by myself. I don't know. I think the guy had just pity on me. It was amazing. Some of the best stories today. I love. Right now, I love telling it, but I wouldn't like to relive it at any point again.
No.
Since then, I always keep my passport with me, no matter where.
Yeah, you don't want to be repeating that again.
No, that again, it was amazing, but it's one of those things that it's cool to tell to people, but it's not cool to live.
Yeah. Changing the topic a little bit. Is there any place that you've been where the culture or the way of living has been totally different, like something very strange?
Yeah, I think I would say Egypt for me at the beginning. When I went to Egypt, I was around 14, and we went for work again. And I have an uncle there. His name is Hussein Katab, great lad. And we were doing a whole tour of the Nile, of the pyramids and stuff. And at the beginning, we were in very nice hotels. I was very young, so it's not like I could go outside and learn stuff. And this was before the revolution happened in Egypt, before the whole stuff was going on. If I remember correctly, it's like 2008, 2007, something like that. 2005, actually, I think. I don't recall perfectly. But when I arrived, obviously for someone in Mexico, which is 100% a Catholic country, you get into a Muslim country, it's always surprising. And I would say that I am very happy that I went to Egypt, because I believe that Egypt at the time was a very tolerant Muslim country, because I didn't see the kind of oppression I was told that I would see. I saw women with the hijab or without the hijab. I saw people just walking around. At the beginning, it was a shock, because it was only one day that I got to really talk to people. And not a lot of people spoke English, but some of them really liked Spanish, because who would know that they love Mexican telenovelas in Morocco, in Egypt. So it was amazing.
Yeah,
they were asking me stuff about these telenovelas that I remember when I was a child watching them. So it was a very easy way to talk. And it was very surprising to me, because everything was different. When we stayed with my uncle for a while in his travel agency, he was working and we were sitting in his office. And there was a guy there called Mahmoud that at some point of the day he would stop working and go into a room. And I didn't really understand. It was like, is he going to... No, it was a praying room, because he was a very devout Muslim and he would just pray.
And you hadn't experienced this before?
I had never seen this. I mean, in the Catholic countries, normally, there's some Sunday Mass and stuff, but I can honestly say my parents are not religious at all.
Yeah.
My father is an open atheist. My mom is like, she doesn't care. I would say agnostic. She knows she's baptized, but she never in her life knew about praying. I was not brought up religious at all. So it was very surprising to me, because even in Mexico is one of the countries that allows you to grow up with whatever religion you have, and there's no type of oppression at all. And I don't want to say that Egypt is the country, but this is the first time I saw other religion.
Yeah.
I've heard about it. I've met other Muslims, but it's always been in London, in the World Travel Market, in Madrid, in different places. But I've never seen a majority, and it was completely different to what I expected. And at some point, there was a woman that was giving us a tour of the National Museum in Cairo. Her name was Imam, and it was the first woman I saw that was speaking Spanish, and she had a hijab, and she had a lot of makeup, beautiful woman. And talking to her, I would make a lot of questions, and she was very patient with me. I think she also thought, well, he's young, he's 14, Mexican, probably doesn't know better, but she answered every one of my questions, and I took a very nice memory from that. I thought, wow, Egypt is amazing. This is a great place. And one of the things I carry with me to this day is, after this, my uncle thought that it was very funny that I kept on, because I went with my sister too, but I was the only one asking about Arab culture, Muslim culture, everything different. We went to the bazaar, and I remember asking, like, what is this knife for? What is this, like, shisha for? What is this hookah? Everything I would be asking about, not only like the normal Egyptian stuff, but also the Arab, their language, to the point that I even bought a little book that said Understanding Arabic, and it was like a basic book. It's not really a basic Arab course, but it would teach you about how the Arabic language has evolved.
Oh, wow.
And I think my uncle saw a lot of curiosity in me, because before I left, he gave me a Quran that was translated on one side in Spanish, and the other side was in Arabic. At the time I didn't know, for example, that Arabic is also written from left to right. It was an amazing gift that to this day, wherever I move, I travel with it. And I also travel with a Bible and a Torah, so it's very difficult when I get stopped sometimes in customs. They go like, are you Muslim? I'm not. I carry it because it's a great gift. It's beautiful. I've read it. I think there's a lot of good stuff in it. I have a Bible too, and I have a Torah too. I read them all. I think there's always something amazing to it. That one was the first, I would say, cultural shock I had. And I think that I managed it pretty well because of my uncle guiding me, and this Imam woman telling me, how are you supposed to ask questions in a way in which you don't sound like a prick, basically. It was for me. It was amazing. Since then, I've been open to every single religion I hear or talk about. I want to know what it is, and if I can get the scriptures, I do, because there's always some kind of wisdom in there. You never know, and it's a beautiful gift. It's something nice to have.
What else did you find strange about it, apart from obviously seeing the different religion and how it was practiced? And
apart from that, I was amazed about, for example, a city in the desert. Cairo is just literally in the middle of the, well, for me, it's in the middle of the desert. You have the Nile River, but it's not even close to Cairo. And then just next to it is Giza with the pyramids. And it's amazing how the city just stops. You're in a street, and then it just stops, and the desert starts, and those are the pyramids. And there's the Sphinx. And it's completely like another town. You turn and you cannot even see the city, because even the sand is up and everything is different. That one for me was like a hit, because even the bus just moved a bit. I saw it. For me, it was amazing. And then we went into the Nile to take a cruise ship that was gonna do like the whole, all the way down to Sahara, and then from Sahara to Alexandria into the Mediterranean. But it was like a river cruise ship. And even when I got into the Nile, it was like an ancient port that I've seen in movies. It was just people still like fishing with nets or sitting down. There was no like industrial stuff. But that's when we got into this ship. But then, I don't know, maybe 20 kilometers in, a massive industrialized port was just in the middle of the city. It's like, it's a perfect division of stuff, of culture and thing. It's like you have this modern Arab caliphate, you have Egypt, and you have a river with nature and crocodiles and stuff. And it's just, for me, it was amazing to see this, because Mexico City is just a monster of a city. It just eats everything. Mexico City has eaten mountains, lakes, and there's nothing but city. For me, it's amazing to see a city that can actually live in harmony with everything around it. That was for me the most amazing part, I would say.
It was actually Egypt where I actually met a Mexican family because I also did the River Nile cruise as well a couple of years ago, and yeah, I met a Mexican family. Part of our group, we had a few American families as well, and myself and my friend were the only British people on the ship.
Yeah, no, you're very lucky. You don't see Mexicans all the time, to be
No,
honest.
no,
But yeah, no, that I
yeah.
would say Egypt for me was the first culture shock. I don't think it's the biggest maybe, but it's the one that I remember the most. Well,
Mm,
first the most and the most fondly because of all the people were very open to explain me their culture. Not a lot of people these days do it.
mm,
I believe because of how the world has been going. Or, yeah, well, I don't know if it has to do with America, with the European Union, or whatever. But I feel like people are a little bit more defensive of the culture right now.
mm,
But in that time, they were very open to explain to
yeah,
me everything I had, every question, every single like minor curiosity. They were not bothered at all. They would just keep on explaining me, and that's a sentiment that I've been trying to carry with me every time people ask
mm,
me stuff about like my country or where I've lived. I'm open to explain everything I can as many times as I can because I was shown the same courtesy,
yeah,
and I even learned something in Egypt that was like they pass it around. This courtesy, they keep on passing it. They do something nice for someone that they don't know, and that someone will just do it for someone else eventually, and it's just so nice. I,
yeah.
lo- I, I learned that with the Egyptians, and I've been trying to do it outside their country. I think it's the way in which I
It should,
honor them for what they did to me.
yeah, it should be a part of our normal human disposition to kind of have that good within us that we can share with one another.
Oh, it would be great, man. I think it would change so much. We'll get there eventually, but I think that it will take its time. Right now, like I said, I think the world is going through a lot of hurt, a lot of
Yeah,
damage. The
yeah,
pandemic, it's also the pandemic in a certain way has been a little bit of like a secret blessing because most of us, I think we've had the time to be alone to really focus and look inside and see what we really want to do.
yeah. Everyone's had time to reflect and
Exactly, yeah,
spend that time with our family, our friends, those close to us, and really being able to connect with people again. Because I think one of the things for me, what I noticed was that just before like the first lockdown, the world was just moving at 100 miles an hour, and people weren't really paying much time or attention to one another, and having that big slow down gave everyone the opportunity to reconnect with one another and focus on the things that are actually important in life.
yeah, I think it made everyone at some point grateful for their neighbors at some point because, well, I mean, I would speak for myself. I didn't know my neighbors at all. I
Wow.
never I never put the effort into it. I went like I live here because I work and I can pay, and this is a great place. And I've only had the effort with the couch surfers. But after that, after a couple months, I said hi. He answered. I know his name now. I know he's got a girlfriend. At some point, I connected with him just a little bit, and now I know who he is. I know
Hmm.
he feels a little bit more comfortable when he like I don't know goes to throw the trash. He sees me and goes like, "Oh, he's taking out the bins. It's fine." And
Yeah.
that's the kind of thing, like you said, we were all going like 1,000 miles an hour. We didn't stop. We just was just going around, and we were just seeing the same people or same friends. But even with them, we were not really connecting at all. We were just
Hmm.
spending time, either like dancing, drinking. But now we have the time to actually appreciate even those 15 minutes. We can see them.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
gives you like a little bit of peace of mind. Goes like, oh well, he's doing fine, and this is the promise of when this ends we'll be able to meet again and in a
Yeah.
way just like talk about our experiences about how it was for us, open up. And that little promise, I think, is what's keeping a lot of us going. But it's also at some point something nice that this happened for us.
Yeah. Yeah.
Understand, to be thankful, to move on in a slower way. To now when this is over, is for us to like reflect, like you said, instead of going like 100 miles an hour, maybe let's just go 50. Maybe let's just enjoy a little bit more. I believe that a lot of people might even just not start working at all at the moment it ends. I believe more people are gonna try to have a holiday with their families or just like go out for themselves, see the world. I think
Yeah.
it's gonna be a good boom of tourism for most of us. But I do hope that, as you say, that we take with us that human thing of, I'm gonna go out, but I'm gonna do something nice for someone, and
Yeah,
he'll
yeah,
carry it out for someone else,
yeah,
and so on and so on. I think that that would be my wish for the end of this pandemic, I think.
yeah. And this kind of kindness that you speak about, have you experienced it anywhere else?
I think that most of my travels have been very blessed. Like I said, I don't I don't I don't come up as mean, I think, and I normally when I talk to people, I don't I like to listen what they got, and I think they appreciate that. They appreciate that I put the effort in. So they've been very nice to me. Like I said, this was one thing with this guy in Turkey, for example. I met him in Montenegro once. He was in our hostel, and then when I went to Turkey for work, my hotel had a problem with the reservation, and before that, I tell him a text. I'm like, "Oh, I'm gonna be here in Istanbul. I'd like to see you."
Mm.
And when I was in the hotel, I took the Wi-Fi and went like, "Oh yeah, no, I'm looking for a cheap hostel, mate, because I don't have one." He just told me like, "Where are you?" I'm like, "Oh, Tassim Square." "Give me a second, mate. I'll go pick you up." He picked me up and he just gave me a home. He just let me
Wow,
stay there as long as I had to work. He didn't ask for money. He didn't say nothing. He just did that for me. And
amazing.
he didn't have to, mate. We met drinking. It's not like he owed me nothing. He just did it because I was
Yeah,
there, and he could. He gave me house, food, warmth. It was again. It's amazing. I think the basic idea of couch surfing. I think that's another thing that I love, that pushed me into couch surfing. That I want to be able to just people that send me like, "Oh, I'm sorry, this is an emergency. I'm in Quebec. I can't have a come here, mate. There's a couch. We'll have a place for you. You'll be fine."
yeah,
But that would be one. I think even just people that have taken the time. Like sometimes if you ask in London, like, "Hey, how can I get to Camden Town?" And the lad that just takes 5 minutes to go like, "Okay, you're gonna take this tube and you're gonna go here." Like just that little second that he takes from their very agitated lives.
yeah,
It's a little moment of peace. You go like, "Oh, thanks, mate." And then you pass it on.
yeah, yeah,
I think that I've been like I've been able to see that a lot of people have been kind to me that I didn't know until right now. I'm focusing, thinking, well, that was very nice of him.
yeah.
Just the guy that translates.
Yeah.
It's just that.
And that's why it's good to have these kind of conversations because, like you said, you've remembered so many things that you probably didn't think of in so much detail unless you kind of have a conversation that rejogs the memory and makes you appreciate a lot of experiences that you have.
Yeah. Like I said, we look completely agree with you. We were living so fast, we didn't see it. We thought that. I think that most of us also we thought that the world owed us this kind of like the example I had with the maid in the Camden Town. I think he owed me those instructions. He needs to answer him. He doesn't have to, mate, but he did.
Mm.
Like we were expecting all of these things to happen for us. Like, oh, I'm being so nice to this guy in this bar. He should buy me a beer. He doesn't need to do anything, mate. It's your choice. But he did. That's amazing. The moment they said, "Oh, you're Mexican, you're a tourist. Let me buy you a drink," it's a kindness.
Mm.
It's something that at the point I used to think, oh, they just do it in Europe because they're trying to be nice because they used to be assholes. I don't know. That's not true, mate. He doesn't owe me nothing. He just did
Yeah,
it because he's nice. There's a
yeah,
lot of those things that I think most of us didn't see. Most of us were, as backpackers, we thought we were owed because we're
mm.
backpacking, we're in hostels, we're going into an adventure. People should help us out. No one is. Even the hitchhikes, no one need to pick me up.
Yeah,
It's your car, mate. You can did whatever you want, but the moment you stopped and you took on me, that's
yeah,
a kindness. That's a beautiful kindness. Even if it's 10 meters, 10 meters
yeah.
is something.
Have you got any interesting hitchhiking stories?
I've only hitchhiked a couple of times in the Balkans. Actually, apparently it's a very common way to move around. Like people will not take taxis; they will just stop and get a hitchhike, and people will just take them.
Yeah,
Even
yeah,
people in the supermarket. When I took a lady, actually, I told her if she could help me out with translating some ingredients, and then she told me where you live. I'm like Jurasevic. She's like, well, hop in. I'm like really, I go pass in. And every time she would go to the supermarket, she would pass in front of my house. Be like, I'm going to the supermarket. You coming? She would just ask me. I'll be like, oh yeah. So it's been like that. I've had like a little. I wouldn't say amazing stories, but it's more like
yeah,
little people that go like, oh, where are you going? There. Oh yeah, I'll take you in. just a little conversation in the car. I say Mexican, they start laughing. They tell me one or two stories.
I had
Does that.
on the first podcast I did. I had a Slovakian guy who hitchhiked from Slovakia all the way to Portugal.
See, man, there's always someone that has done it. I've heard about that one too. I heard about a guy that did, I think almost the same. I think he did like Normandy all the way to like south of Italy, also hitchhiking. Honestly, mate, I don't think I could do it. I'm okay with the a little hitchhike, a little lift from town to town, a town that is like, I don't know, like 20, 30 minutes. I don't know if I could do like a whole freeway with someone. I don't know. I prefer to just get a bus. I don't know, a motorcycle, something. But I don't know if I could do multiple countries hitchhiking.
I think it's
maybe in the future.
Yeah, I think it's not as common these days as it was once upon a time, I suppose.
I think it's a cultural thing, man. I think it really depends. If you ask a Mexican, he's never gonna say yes. We assess danger. We're like, no, that's how you get killed. The first thing I would have said, like, no, that's how you get killed. Of course not. Get a bus. Why you want to play with your life?
Yeah, the only time I've really experienced it myself is in Morocco. Like a lot of people hitchhike and stuff like that, or I helped like quite a lot of elderly people who can't really wait for the bus because the bus services are every hour, 2 hours and stuff like that. So you take them from a village to another village, and you try to do your best to kind of support, and you do feel self-rewarded by doing such things.
Yeah, that's kind of nice. That's a good kindness. I mean, you gotta give it to the Moroccans. That's nice. I haven't heard about that, for example. I didn't know they were doing that, but that's pretty fucking great.
Yeah. So you've been yourself? Have you?
I've been to Rabaul. I've been to Marrakesh. Again, also just volunteering. It's been very nice. But I sadly those times I was just in the hostel or in the bazaar.
Yeah.
Or a little bit in the beach. I didn't do much. I just stayed a couple of weeks. I didn't stay enough. Yeah. Eventually, I want to go back, but for the moment, there's no rigid plan. I have a friend from there. Her name is Usna. She's actually living in Manchester. She's a very close friend. I already told her that if I'm going back, I want to go with her so she can help me out with translations and stuff.
Yeah.
She's a local. She knows she can teach me good places to go. Yeah. So I'm pretty sure they're gonna see me, and as much as I look mixed or whatever, they're still gonna know I don't speak Arabic. They're still gonna know I'm some kind of guy that just is there. So they won't take me to places locals go. They'll just take me to somewhere everywhere goes, and I'll have to pay in euros for some stuff, and I don't think I want to do that.
Yeah. And have you been anywhere else in Africa?
I think it's just that South Africa, World Cup again, working. That's about it.
Yeah. What did you make of South Africa?
Yeah, South Africa. I just did Johannesburg. I was before the World Cup. I accompanied my father to do some we call it scouting, to check out the hotels and stuff.
Yeah.
I was also very, very young at the time, so I just checked it out. It was nice and everything, but no, I was like maybe 16, I think.
Yeah.
It was nice. I saw a little bit of stuff. I saw some. They were doing some tribal rituals for the entertainment, but I really didn't get to see any local stuff. I have a very close friend that is in South Africa actually right now. Her name is Camila, and we gave her a little nickname. Her little nickname is she's the Black Pantress. And we always say that eventually I'm gonna go visit the Black Pantress and stay there with her. And she's already told me. I met her in couchsurfing. She already told me that I'm completely invited, and eventually I'm gonna go. Just not right now. Again, I gotta really plan out everything, because it looks like I have to. My schedule is just too big with trips at this point. I need to really figure it out. Plus, it's a lot of money, man. I really
of course. That's the one thing that holds people up is time and money, I suppose.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I got savings obviously, but I cannot just like spend all. Well, I mean, I could spend all of it, but I don't. Out of this pandemic, I think I need to be smart.
Yeah. I went to Cape Town. That was amazing. I'd really recommend that.
I'll take you up on that. I'll check it out when I'm there. I'll tell Camille to take me there. Again, it sounds the little bit I saw, it was nice, but I'm pretty sure that right now with adult eyes or whatever is going to be different for me, and that'll be nice.
Yeah. And you've traveled a bit around Southeast Asia and stuff like that.
I checked out a little bit. Just checked out Vietnam and Thailand. That I could say Myanmar.
Yeah.
Again, fast travel, not really stayed enough. But I am hoping that when I do Indonesia, I can do Indonesia, Malaysia, because it's also pretty. There's a lot of cheap boats you can take.
Yeah.
I can do.
Because it's all islands.
Yeah, exactly. I can do like the archipelago tour. There's a lot of them, and then you can even fly from Canberra in Australia from there, and it's even cheaper. But I like to do more like start in Jakarta, do Malaysia, do Kuala Lumpur. From there go Vietnam, Thailand. Mexicans need a visa, so I need to get a visa for Thailand, and then eventually go into Myanmar, because Myanmar I really want to see it more. I just saw Naypyidaw, which is the new capital. It's very beautiful and very advanced. But there's an old capital that I wasn't able to go, and that one is the one I want to check out, because that one is apparently the old capital, has all this Buddhist stuff that I'm very curious to see.
Yeah. So you've got quite a lot on your list, I suppose, to kind of to see and do.
I mean, yeah, but I still have a lot of life, so I'm not really. I hate to think of what a lot of couch surfers have told me of, like, oh, I'm gonna hit 35 now. I'm not gonna be able to travel. I mean, I'm not 35, but I go. What's the matter? You can hit 38. You can still travel. I mean, I don't see a problem. Some hostels have age restrictions, but there's still Airbnb. There's still a lot of cheap hotels that will take you in. There's actual hostels that would just go like, oh, you're a chill lad, come in.
Yeah.
So I think I can travel the rest of my life with no problem. There's no rush in it. Like we said, this pandemic showed us there's no need to rush. Let's just enjoy it. Take our time. I want to travel, but I want to stay enough time in each country for me to have a nice opinion.
Yeah.
But maybe not a nice opinion, but a complete opinion. Something that I could say, this is not just some touristic stuff I did. This is the local stuff. This is the fun.
Yeah.
That's basically it for me.
And is there any country that you would really like to travel to, apart from like Indonesia? Is there any place that's kind of sparks your curiosity?
Really, yes. There's one, Azerbaijan.
Okay.
So that's the only country I haven't been in Europe that I need. Well, Azerbaijan and Armenia, but I know that for the moment you cannot cross into Armenia or Azerbaijan because of there's an armed conflict.
Yeah.
But I've seen pictures of Baku, the capital of Azerbaijan, and it looks amazing, mate. There was actually a British architect, I think, that constructed some national building for them, and it looks breathtaking. I never been. I've seen pictures.
Yeah,
I know one girl from there in Georgia.
Yeah.
And she told me this beautiful, like, I would even say mythical stories of her land. And Azerbaijan is a country that literally, if I had someone tell me tomorrow, I have a ticket to Azerbaijan.
Yeah.
2-way. You can stay there 2 weeks. There's one hostel. Would you take it? I wouldn't even, in a split second, mate. In a split second.
Wow.
Straight up.
They are trying to promote tourism there because they have a lot more sporting events there. They had I think the Europa Cup final there a couple of years ago. They have the Grand Prix there.
Yeah, the Grand Prix, I heard about that one.
Yeah.
There's even like they constructed the whole I think the whole like racetrack was new.
Yeah.
I saw all of these things, and I've seen pictures of the monuments. The stuff is there again. I think it's just like Georgia is a hidden gem. I think Azerbaijan is just like a hidden diamond. It's just next to it, and it still has something to give. And I'm pretty sure I could be even the first Mexican there. Maybe, I don't know. I really want to see it. I think I honestly don't even know what language they speak. I know the capital is Baku. That's as much as I know.
Yeah,
I know there's a lot of oil. That's literally that's all I know, and I really don't wanna. I don't want my time to come knowing that I only know that about Azerbaijan. I really need to see everything.
Yeah. Right. So before we bring the show to a close, is there anything you want to say? Anything you want to add?
Well, if anything, the only thing I think that I've always wanted to transmit with my videos, with my vlog, is well, first of all, a little promotion. I'm gonna have eventually my webpage, solanotraveler.com. It's gonna come online next Monday. From there, you can check out the podcast, the videos, all the YouTube stuff. There's the written, there's the audio, and there's the video. You can choose which content you want.
Yeah.
But the thing that I've always tried to express with everything that I do, with my travel, with everything, is that I believe that the only way to stop hating the world is with love. And there's multiple ways to have love in your life. But I believe that one of the best ways to acquire love is by traveling, because you put yourself in someone else's shoes. The only way you end racism, xenophobia, sexism, everything, I think it's by travel. And I think it's using love. You're not gonna get anywhere by hating someone that hates. You're just giving him more ammunition for him to hate, or for her to hate you.
Yeah.
Give him love. If someone shows you hate, give nothing but love back. Doesn't matter, because you are not wrong. He or she is wrong. Travel.
Yeah.
Enjoy.
Muy bien.
I think it's that. People see you with a smile. You're giving love to the world. The world will eventually thank you. That would be my message to anyone that's listening to this. That's my mantra.
Yeah, that's a great message to finish the show. So I just want to thank everyone for watching the podcast or listening to it, however they choose to listen or to take it in. And hopefully we'll be back soon in the future. And hopefully we'll get to catch up with you again, maybe in a few months' time or a year's time, when we've both managed to travel a bit more.
Of course, man. I mean, I'm always open. I'm very happy to be here. I'm very happy to be invited. Whenever you want me back, I'm more than sure they'll be ready. And of course, I'll have more crazy stories to share.
Yeah. Solano, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for joining us. Take care. Thanks.
You too, thanks.
O Afro tá envolvente que mexe com a mente, que não tá presente, as novinhas salientes, fica louco, não se joga pra gente. Bum bum tam tam, vai come, bum bum tam tam, vai come, bum bum tam tam, vai come,